Hi, everyone, and welcome along to the Ergonomically Speaking podcast, the podcast that aims to help you reduce and even eliminate work related discomfort. I'm your host, Neve Pentney of Boyne Ergonomics. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that you're able to take away some useful practical advice from this podcast to help you reduce your own risk of discomfort at the workplace or help manage the risks among the people that you might be responsible for. So now that we know why we're here, let's get started. Hello, and welcome along to another episode of the Ergonomically Speaking podcast with myself, Neve Pentney of Boyne Ergonomics. In this episode, I am going to be speaking specifically to my fellow solopreneurs, the self-employed, the side hustlers, the freelancers, the one-person powerhouses, because that is what we are. And here's the thing. When you're self-employed, your greatest business asset, it's not your laptop, it's not your website, it's not your brand, it's not your expertise, it's you and your physical and your mental well-being. If you're working in pain, discomfort, fatigue, you will feel it and your business will feel it too. So this episode is Ergonomics for Solopreneurs. Protect your best asset. And this episode came about because very recently I had a little work limiting injury, we'll call it, and it kept me off the road for coming on 8 weeks. So I'm coming out the other side of it now. But my first instinct when I got the x-ray back and my ankle was broken, I just went, oh my God, how am I going to work? Because I am my business, like many of you. And I went into panic mode. Now, luckily, I can do a lot of my job remotely, which has got me through the last kind of 7 to 8 weeks. But I really, really panicked. And it made me reflect what happens to our businesses when we are not well enough or healthy enough to run it. No sick leave. Most of us don't have a backup team. There's no safety net. Just work that can't get done or doesn't get done. And I know that I am not alone. So many solopreneurs are working from less than ideal setups, your kitchen tables, your beds, your sofas, with laptops sitting at weird angles. And this might seem handy. It might seem harmless in the short term. You might like not having a workstation in your house and being able to bop around from the sofa to the bed to the kitchen table. But over time, this can take its toll. Let's talk about what poor ergonomics can actually look like when you're working. It looks like the hunched shoulders. It looks like the neck pain from looking down at your laptop, or the wrist strain from typing in weird positions, headaches from the glare of your screen, and pain in the lower back from unsupportive chairs. And these physical issues, these little things that start as niggles, can create business problems too. If pain slows you down, face it, we're not going to be as productive. If discomfort kills your focus, well, then you're going to be experiencing creative blocks. If you just can't keep going because you're so uncomfortable and so fatigued with it, that's going to shorten your workday. And if you have to take time off to recover and get treatment, well, then that's going to give you medical costs and missed income. If you're the only person in your business, these aren't small inconveniences. They're risks to your income. And that was my biggest panic. When I had my accident, I was very, very panicked about where the income was going to come while I was off my feet because there was no backup plan. And let's have a look at laptops. I've spoken many, many times about laptops, and there's still something I speak to on a daily basis when I'm linking in one-on-one with people working from home. Don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-laptop. Laptops are amazing for flexibility and portability, but they are a nightmare from an ergonomic perspective. Simply because you cannot use the screen and the keyboard in the best position at the same time. Can't align the keyboard where it should be and the screen to where it should be. So you're forced to pick one. You either have your screen in the right position or you have your keyboard in the right position, but that's going to force you to adopt an awkward posture or positioning to make this accommodation. So either the head's going to be looking down, the wrists are going to be at weird angles, the shoulders are going to be tense. And just because it's so portable, I know you tell yourself, I'll just work here for a bit. And here could be the sofa, the cafe, on a bed. But the just a bit often turns into hours because I'll just do this. Oh, there's an email. I'll just do it for this meeting. It can stretch. Now, overall, there's nothing wrong in theory with working from the likes of the cafe, the bed, the sofa, the kitchen table. But if that's what you're doing, it should be for short periods before you go back to a base area where you can achieve good posture and positioning. So let's have a look at what we can do to fix it, even on a budget. Now, when people hear me and others talking about a good home workstation, I know their mind automatically goes to the cost. What's this going to cost? Now, here's the good news. You do not need a €1,000 chair to be comfortable. I've had the €1,000 chairs and they weren't that comfortable. You can start small. So if you are a solopreneur and you're working for yourself at home, start small. Get yourself a laptop stand. Inexpensive. Raise your screen to eye level. Get yourself a separate keyboard and mouse so that you can have a keyboard at the right position for you while having the screen elevated on the laptop stand. And if you do not have an adjustable chair, get yourself a little foam back support or even, a cushion, a rolled up towel, something that will sit in your lower back. Use this as your starting point, especially if you yourself are just starting out on the road to being a solopreneur and maybe you don't have the income or the funds at the moment, and that's okay. As your business starts to grow, then you can start to invest in an adjustable chair, maybe an external monitor for good screen position and a bigger screen size, an extra bit of lighting. Think of it as building your ergonomics toolkit in phases, similar to how you would scale your business, scale your workstation. You don't have to go all in straight away with the expensive chairs and the sit stand desks and everything else. I myself did it bit by bit. And anyone who's followed me for a long time or anyone who knows me for a long time knows that for the first couple of years of my business, I was on the road so much that I didn't really have a setup at home. I did most of my work on the road with a little bit of work on the sofa in the evening, but not too much. Then COVID happened and I had no setup. I had no workstation. But like everybody else, I had to work from home. And I remember day one of figuring out how we were going to work from home during COVID and doing virtual calls. I have a photograph of it somewhere. It was a folding kitchen chair from IKEA. It was an ironing board. It was a laptop to fill in my reports on. And it was my phone for the camera, for the Zooms it was at the time. And like you, I started with very little, but bit by bit by bit, I built it up. And now, and it's taken me a while, I'd say overall, it probably took me the guts of 3 to 4 years. I now have a workstation that I'm happy with, that is adjustable and supports me. But it happened piece by piece, and that's how you need to do it, the same as you do when you're growing your business. Aside from the workstation, the biggest trap I see solopreneurs falling into, because look, let's be honest, it's busy. We're doing everything ourselves most of the time. It's a lack of movement. People sitting for hours and hours trying to get this done and that done and moving on to the next thing. Even if you had the most perfect workstation set up, like a really adjustable chair, lovely screens, lovely keyboards and mice, if you're going to sit for too long, it's going to cause a problem. Muscles are going to get inflamed. They're going to get stiff and sore. The eyes are going to get tired. Movement is a non-negotiable to keep yourself healthy, well, and productive while you work. Movement is non-negotiable. set a timer. I know it's hard. We get sucked into the work. I'll just get this done. I'll just get this done. I'll just do this email. We get sucked in. Movement is not going to slow down your productivity. It's going to boost it. So learn to build the movement in. Set yourself a timer. I use an old school manual timer. Works for me. Quite happy with it. I'm not a fan of apps, but there's plenty of break reminder apps out there that you could put on your phone, you could put on your laptop. Most of us at this point have watches that will buzz and tell us if we've been sitting for too long. Use these tools. Set your timers. No more than 45 minutes, guys, sitting in your chair. Use the 20-20-20 rule for your eyes, which essentially means every 20 minutes at least, you should be looking away from your screen at something that's roughly about 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Best way I can explain it to people is if you're sitting near a window every 20 minutes, sit back and look out the window for 20 seconds. You're not looking at anything in particular. You're just having a little look around. You're letting your eye muscles relax because they've been focused on the screen for so long and that's really hard work for them. So you're just looking away from the screen for 20 seconds, at least every 20 minutes, just to let your eyes break. Do stretches. Get up, walk around, or maybe when you go down and put the kettle on, don't rush back to the desk. Stay there for 2 minutes, potter around, do some other things while the kettle's boiling. Do a little dance break if that's what you want to do. Whatever you need to get the blood flowing, boost your productivity and lift your mood. You don't have to overhaul your life. I'm not asking for major changes. Just a little bit of movement will have such an impact on your day. No going back from it. The next thing I want you to do, so we're going to make little adjustments to our workstation to start us off. We're going to build in a bit of movement. Then I want you to listen to your body. Your body is always giving you feedback. It might be the form of pain, stiffness, eye strain, headaches, little niggles. These are data points. These are little alerts. Start paying attention to where you notice these signs. If it starts to worsen as the week goes on, or if you notice that you don't feel those little niggles at all during the weekend or when you're on holidays, that's a little clue. There's something wrong with the workstation. There's something wrong with how you're working and your body doesn't like it. The sooner you notice, the earlier you intervene, the better it's going to be and easier to fix. Let's talk for a second a return on investment, because I know I said it before in this, a lot of people think a good workstation costs a lot of money and they think of it as an expense. I'm telling you, it's an investment. A good ergonomic setup does not have to cost the earth, but the cost of doing nothing can. If you start to develop aches and pains and niggles and you're ignoring them, they will compound and compound. And then we're looking at medical expenses. Then we're looking at missed revenue. You're looking at losing clients or losing opportunities. And you're looking at burnout. So by investing a little, bit by bit, into your workstation ergonomics, it will increase your daily capacity. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be more focused. You're going to be more consistent with your output. It's not a luxury. It's not an expense. It's part of your business infrastructure. It is an investment. So what I want you to take away, what your next steps are, is assess your current setup. I have a quiz for that. I'll link it in the show notes. Make one free improvement today. Have a look. What can you do? Is it that you set the reminders to take your breaks? That'd be great. Is it that you stick that little cushion or towel in behind your back for a bit of support? Is it that you lift that laptop up on a box or a couple of books and dig out that keyboard that you've had for a while that you never use? Do one improvement. And then I want you to plan. What's your first upgrade going to be? Now, this might just be getting the laptop stand and keyboard and mouse. It might be starting to have a look at chairs. It might be something, maybe you know what, you're at the kitchen table and you have room for a desk. Maybe you're going to have a look around IKEA for a little desk for yourself. I want you to plan what your first upgrade is going to be. Start small, but start. That's the important thing. Your health is your business. Do not wait for something to happen to you to force the change. Protect your greatest asset, and you will protect your creativity, your income, and your longevity doing what you love to do. And that's why we're here. I'm a solopreneur. You're a solopreneur. We do this because we want to and we love it and we enjoy it. What we want, I want you to keep going. I want you to achieve your full potential, whatever that looks like for you. Thanks so much for listening. As always, there is a blog post connected to this episode. I'll put the link for it in the show notes. There'll be a link for the quiz in the show notes, as well as all my social media handles if you want to come along and follow me. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone, a fellow solopreneur. You never know who's quietly working in pain and not saying anything. And one little tip, one piece of advice could make all the difference. So until next time, everybody, stay well.